for All India Survey on Higher Education, Tumakuru University. A warm welcome to you, sir. I would also welcome Associate Professor Punita G, Head of the Department of Commerce and Management Department. A warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
I would welcome our librarian Asha PT. A warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
I would render a hearty welcome to all the academicians, research scholars present here. I would also welcome all my peer colleagues present over here. A warm welcome to everyone. Now we will start the session. Sir, it's over to you. You can take over the session, sir.
Thank you very much. So before I begin the session, I just ask for a favor. In fact, I'm getting many requests for admitting the participants into the session. Can somebody else take this over?
Of course, sir, we will make you a co-host so that you can admit people, sir.
No. In fact, I do not want to engage in admitting people. I can just be a participant and I can share my screen and I can continue my session so that somebody else can manage admitting people.
And we will admit from here, sir, no issues. We will admit.
Yeah, thank you. So, very good afternoon to one and all who have joined this program, and very good afternoon to the entire teaching fraternity, non-teaching fraternity of Seshadripuram institutions, heritage institution having its own goodwill in the education sector. At the outset, I thank the institution, particularly the head of the Department of Management as well as the librarian for giving me this opportunity. In this session, I will be sharing a few random thoughts as well as a few techniques to employ in scholarly publishing. So let me straight away start my presentation by sharing the screen. So I hope my presentation is visible to you.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah, okay, right. So when we talk about scholarly publishing, since I'm addressing an audience consisting of teachers in various subjects, I presume there are teachers who teach subjects other than commerce and management also. So this seems to be a diverse audience. Let me give you an outline of what I will be covering in an hour and a half or a couple of hours from now. First, I will be talking on two important aspects in scholarly publishing: research visibility and impact. In the meanwhile, I will also talk about productivity in research productivity. And then I will move on to scholarly writing and publishing strategies, the sources for selection of journals, and I will also be briefing on research impact metrics which are used today to measure the performance, measure the efficiency, measure the productivity and impact of one's research. And lastly, I will be speaking on academic identity. And finally, since I have been asked to outline on the preparation of synopsis for Ph.D. registration also, I'll be touching upon that. Let's start with two important aspects in research. Why do we publish? Why do I publish articles as an individual? After all, a human being does anything and everything ultimately for recognition and self-satisfaction. Therefore, publishing activities of authors should lead to recognition. And recognition is something that will not be coming to an author without efforts from his part. Therefore, there have to be certain efforts. So in this direction, I will be talking about two important aspects with regard to research: productivity and impact. So are they one and the same, or are they different? Let's try to understand. Firstly, productivity is a quantitative measure. Generally, productivity is measured in terms of the number of publications made by an author. If that is the case, an author having a higher number of publications will be considered more productive than the one who has lower number of publications. So research productivity is purely a quantitative expression, whereas impact comes by way of the number of citations received by an author for his or her publications. I will be giving you due examples for you to understand. So impact is a qualitative phenomenon. When I say it's a qualitative phenomenon, I mean it reflects higher number of citations received by an author for his or her publications, reflects that the publications are more useful to the authors in the same subject or many other subjects. So citations are an indicator of the utility or the usefulness of the publications made by an author. Therefore, higher number of citations also indicate higher quality of research. That means more number of people have found the publications of an author, the articles published by an author, useful for their scholarly work. But if something is only qualitative, something is very abstract, then it will be difficult to make possible comparative analysis. It's not possible to compare if citations are not there. If I say author A has high quality publications, in what sense? What is the criteria to measure? Therefore, number of citations received by an author is a quantitative expression of a qualitative phenomenon. When I say qualitative phenomenon, more other authors in the same subject or some other subject have found the articles of a particular author more useful. Therefore, they have used them and cited them. Let's go ahead with an example. It's easy to understand through an example. Here is the Google Scholar profile of Dr. B.T. Sampath Kumar, who is my guide. You can notice on the right hand side, the number of citations is given. So the number of citations for the articles published by an author accumulate, increment over a period of time. Let's take one article as an example. I'll take the first article listed here, Perception and Usage of E-Resources and the Internet by Indian Academics. Let me take that article as an example to make you understand what is the impact. Let's take this article as an example. As you can notice from here, this article has been published by two authors, B.T. Sampath Kumar and G.T. Kumar, in the journal The Electronic Library, published in the year 2010. Another article, more or less on the same content, use of e-resources, is published by two other authors, Iqbal Bhatt and Mahesh V. Mudhol. Please note that the second article is published in the year 2014. I will point you to a specific section in the second article. Now, if you see here, Kumar and Kumar found in their study that users are well aware of e-resources and prefer to use internet. Now, what is this Kumar and Kumar which is found in the text of the second article? It is this article. This article by B.T. Sampath Kumar and G.T. Kumar has been studied. A part of the content has been used by Iqbal Bhatt and Mahesh V. Mudhol in an article published in the year 2014 by them. So there is one citation to the first article. Therefore, the first article is called the cited article. The second article, which is making use of the first article, is known as the citing article. So now, who is receiving the citation or earning the citation? B.T. Sampath Kumar and G.T. Kumar are earning one citation from Iqbal Bhatt and Mahesh V. Mudhol. So these two authors have given a citation or attributed a citation or dedicated a citation. So this over a period of time will accumulate. For instance, this article is the cited article. These are all citing articles. You can see 2014, 2011, 2011 again, 2013, 2012. So the number of citations received by this article increases over a period of time. And if it is increasing at a faster rate, it means that more and more other authors are making use of the contents of this article. In other words, this means that this article has more useful contents. Therefore, it is making impact on other authors in the same discipline or sometimes even in other discipline, other subject. So now we understand that simply having more number of articles is not an indicator of the performance or the efficiency of an author. It is in fact the other measure that is called research impact, which is measured by the number of citations received by an article. Okay. So in the scholarly world, among authors, among teachers, among writers, among scholars, it is believed that higher the number of citations received, higher is the impact of research. So it also means that more number of researchers, more number of authors have found that particular article useful to them. Therefore, they have used some content from the article and they have cited the article in their work. Therefore, citation is a tool to measure impact of authors at the author level. Suppose you want to compare who is more impactful, author A or author B. What is the basis? You can use number of citations received by them for their articles as the basis to comparatively measure their impact. Secondly, citation is a tool to measure article level impact also. There are two articles, Article A, Article 2. You want to know which article is more useful, which article has made more impact on in the scholarly world, then you can use the same tool, number of citations received by the articles. Thirdly, citations can also be used as a tool to measure journal level impact. Supposing there are two journals, Journal A and Journal B. You want to decide, you want to know which journal is more impactful, which journal is more useful, which journal is more reputed academically, then you can make use of the number of citations received by the journal for the articles published in it as the tool. Therefore, my dear friends, citation plays an important role. My request to you is, if you are publishing articles in journals, then please look for journals which already have higher number of citations for their articles, for the articles published by them. Not the number of articles. Let's move on to the strategies. Now we clearly know what is productivity and what is impact. So it is impact that matters more, but nowadays productivity, meaning the number of publications, also equally matters. I will tell you why. When I explain research impact metrics, I will be telling you why number of publications also plays a role. Let's look at the strategies. Scenario number one, case number one. I am yet to prepare an article. I have not yet prepared an article. I am yet to prepare an article, right? Scenario number two, I have already prepared an article. I might have prepared the entire article, or at least I am ready with a title and an abstract. So these two scenarios are commonly experienced by authors. Okay, so I would like to make this interactive. In case you have any clarification, then you can ask me, or if the organizers prefer to have all the clarification at the end of the session, then we can have it at the end. So scenario number one, I am yet to prepare an article. So how do I proceed? Strategy number one. This is for scenario number one, when I am yet to prepare an article. Number one, very important, study the trends in your subject. When I say trends, it means what are the most happening, most debated, most discussed topics in my subject. It is easy to find out if you are familiar with the scholarly content databases. Please do not look into textbooks or even books in general if you want to know about the trends in your subject. Please do not look into books. I suggest and insist that you look into journal articles. You look into reputed journals in your subject to know what are the trends, latest trends in my subject, and to follow those trends. So the first step is to study the trends in your subject. Studying the trend will give you some idea as to what is important in the contemporary world in your subject area. What is important? If you blindly prepare an article on a subject, on a topic which is about 30 years old and it is already obsolete, then more authors will not find your article interesting and useful. Therefore, please study the trends in your subject. If you want to study the trends in your subject, then you may have to Then you may have to study the journals, journal articles, note down what are the topics authors are frequently publishing on. So firstly, you have to study the trends in your respective subject. Second, find the best journals in your subject. I will be taking up this one, how to find the best journals, on what basis to find the best journals in your subject. Select one of the journals based on your preference. I will give you the general criteria to find the general method to find the best journals in your subject. Out of them, select one and then study the scope and submission guidelines of that particular journal. It is very important to study the subject scope and the submission guidelines of the selected journal. Prepare and submit the manuscript. Manuscript refers to the version of the article as prepared by an author. It is final according to the author. Before submission, an author will finalize the article, contents of the article. The author will structure, format the article in certain way, and according to the author, that is the final version. That's called a manuscript. The general meaning of the word manuscript is a handwritten document, because historically journals, authors used to submit the articles to journals in their handwriting. The same terminology has been continued, but today we mostly use computers to prepare our version of the article. So it's called a manuscript. Submit the manuscript. So these are simple steps. All of you will know this. But what is more important is to study the trends in your subject. And more important than that is to find the best journals in your subject. Right, I'll focus on that. Strategy 2. When you are already ready, I request the participants not to draw anything on the screen. It will disturb the presentation. Right. So strategy 2 is when you are at least ready with a title and an abstract. You've already studied the trend. You have prepared an article, or you have at least prepared a title and an abstract. In that case, the first point that I mentioned in the first strategy, that is studying the trends in the subject, has already been accomplished by you. By studying the trends, you have already prepared an article. If not the full length article, at least the title you have decided, and you have an abstract, a crude abstract. Then you need to start from the second step, that is find journals best suited for the article prepared by you. Remember, the difference between the first method and the second method is, in the first method, you have no idea on what topic I have to prepare an article because you have not yet prepared it. In the second method, you already had some idea and you have already prepared at least the title and the abstract. In some cases, you may be already ready with the article also. In such case, you need to find out best journal, the journal which is best suited for the article which is already prepared by you. Select one of them. If there are multiple journals, then study the scope and submission guidelines, and then format or reformat your manuscript according to the submission guidelines if required. Then submit it. As simple as that. There's nothing too technical in whatever I have explained so far. Let's move on to the very important part. Sources for selection of journals. Where do I select the journals from? Where do I select the journals from? This is where an author has to work on. So let's start with an Indian initiative, UGC CARE journal list. As you may be aware, UGC in the year 2018 came up with a consortium for academic and research ethics, that's called CARE. And CARE is responsible for preparing a list of journals which are considered good for submitting articles and publishing articles. So let me just skip my presentation. I'll just skip my presentation. I'll exit the presentation, then I'll go for a demo. Let me show the demo. Okay, so let's start with UGC CARE journal list. Let me show you. Let me share the screen and then show you how to visit UGC CARE. Can you see Chrome browser on screen? Can somebody confirm it to me?
Yes, sir, we are able to see.
Yeah, okay. So I'll continue. The URL of UGC CARE website is ugccare.unipune.ac.in. The list of journals under UGC CARE is maintained by Savitribai Phule Pune University. Therefore, UGC CARE website is a part of University of Pune website. So let's go to this site. Okay. So I hope you are able to see the home page of UGC CARE.
Yes, sir, we are able to see.
Yes. Okay. Right. If you observe here, there are certain notices, and most importantly, look at the middle part of it. There is an alert. There is a list of cloned journals. I'll talk about cloned journals. Spandana VR has raised hand. If you have any clarification, do you have any clarification?
I'm sorry, sir, that was by mistake.
Okay, right. Then I'll continue. There is an alert list of cloned journals. I'll talk about this in a little while from now. Let's focus on this part here. There is a login menu item here, login button. This means that you need to register and create an account on UGC CARE website. If you want to search for journals, let's log in. Since I already have an account, I will log in straight away. If you don't have an account, click on login. You will get the login screen. At the bottom of the login screen, you have this message, don't have an account, register here. If you click on register here, you will get a simple form which you can fill and you can create an account. So let me log in using my login credentials. Okay, fine. Even before we go to searching and browsing the list of journals, let me take you to this important notices. Okay, so you can read the other notices at leisure. Let's take the first notice. UGC CARE list has two groups. Originally, it had 4 groups. Now they have been merged into 2. The first group, UGC CARE list group 1, includes, first let me talk about group 2. UGC care list group 2 includes those journals which are already indexed, which are already listed in globally recognized databases. Now let me name these globally recognized databases. These are Web of Science, Scopus, and MLA Directory of Periodicals. These three are the globally recognized databases which have been considered by UGC CARE to extract the list of journals for their inclusion in UGC CARE list group 2. Those journals which are not indexed in these globally recognized databases can request, by filling up a form, can request for their inclusion in UGC CARE list. All these journals are listed in group 1. So group 1 contains those journals which are not indexed in globally recognized databases, but they have been found qualified through UGC CARE protocol. When I say UGC CARE protocol, it is a set of requirements a journal has to satisfy in order to become eligible for its inclusion in UGC CARE list. Right. So that means there are two groups which you can search. You can click on UGC CARE list group 1. You will be taken to this particular page. If you click on, let me come back here. If you click on UGC CARE list group 2, then also you will land in the same page. Right. Let's come to this page. UGC CARE list group 2 on the right hand side contains here Web of Science, Scopus, MLA. This means that if a particular journal is already indexed in Web of Science, Scopus, or MLA Directory of Periodicals, then even by closing your eyes, by not even looking into UGC CARE, you can submit your article to any of these journals. They are by default indexed. They are by default listed in UGC CARE. Let's come to the left hand side. UGC CARE list group 1. This is where you may have to find out. You may have to search and find out. That is why you have search here. Let's click on search. I'll come to the search page. You can browse the list of group 1 journals by discipline like sciences, social sciences, arts and humanities, multidisciplinary, Indian languages. You can also browse journals alphabetically. You can see the alphabet here at the bottom, or you can also search. Okay. So search by title, search by ISSN, search by name of the publisher, search by subject, and the language of publication. So let me try, for instance, if there is a subject name, commerce, I'll click on search. So it says no any journal, that means no journal. It only means that the subject name commerce is not recognized in UGC CARE. Okay. Let me come back. Let me give you an important point where most of us will make mistake. If you look at the classification, there is a specific classification scheme that is used by UGC CARE to classify the subjects of journals. That's called All Science Journal Classification Code. Okay, so let me go to this has been created and maintained by Elsevier in its Scopus database. So let me right click and open this link in a new tab. Yeah, so this is called All Science Journal Classification. Okay, now if you look at the code, if you look at the field and subject area, this is broader subject area, this is specific subject area. Okay, so you can search for something related to commerce. Let me find out if it is available. If it is available here, the same has been adopted by no results for commerce. Okay, so let's go to the total list and find out that which is nearer to commerce. Okay, maybe trade, business. Okay, so if you can find business somewhere here, yeah, see, general business management and accounting, business management and accounting, business and international management, accounting, management information systems. So UGC CARE follows, this is something tricky. This is something which you cannot figure out so easily. That is why I'm making it a point to tell you that you need to find out. For instance, if I search for the subject accounting in UGC CARE, in UGC CARE subject search, then I will find journals. Okay, so I hope you are able to follow how to find out the name of the subject, first of all. I'm sorry to say UGC CARE must have made greater efforts to make authors understand what subject classification scheme is being used, has been adopted. Otherwise, an innocent author like me will come to UGC CARE subject search. I'll select subject and I'll enter commerce and I will come to a conclusion because there are no journals. I'll come to a conclusion that, oh, in UGC CARE list group 1, there are no journals in the subject commerce. Okay, so that should not happen. Now that I have demonstrated it, please look for relevant words in all science subject classification uh, in Elsevier. Okay, the link is very much available here only. If you come to a search page, it's available here, all science journal classification. You come to all science journal classification and find out your area and use that particular name. Okay, that particular name. Right, so this is how you will search and you will find out journals. You can also browse, for instance, social sciences. If I click on social sciences, all the social science journals will be listed. When I say social sciences, once again, I must remind you that it is according to this classification. Okay, not your classification. Right, so I hope you are clear with UGC CARE list and you will find out journals. For instance, yeah, you have find where is it, accounting. Yeah, okay, so you have found out these journals in the area of accounting. If you are an author, if you are a researcher working in the area of accounting, you can submit your article to any journal after studying the subject scope of individual journal. For instance, I want to explore American Journal of Business. I will click on view. A separate page will open giving the details of this journal. The focus subject is business and international management. Business management and accounting is the subject. Discipline is social science. Here you will understand the broader classification. Journal title is given. If I click on journal title, I will be taken to the journal page in the concerned database. So this is an Emerald Publishing journal. So American Journal of Business. Study the scope, study the subject, study the submission guidelines, and then here you have got the description of the journal, aims and scope, author guidelines, meaning the submission guidelines, how to submit. Okay, so this is how almost every journal will have the scope details on its scope and submission guidelines or author guidelines. Right. So that's about the first source for selection of journals, that is UGC CARE. The second is Web of Science or Clarivate Master Journal List. This is an excellent list of journals. If you look at any journal that is already listed in Web of Science or Scopus, these journals are automatically listed in UGC CARE also. So you need not worry to find out again. Once you find out whether a particular journal is listed in Web of Science or Scopus, you need not again go to UGC CARE and find out whether they are listed. They will be automatically listed. Right, let's find out Clarivate Master Journal List. Clarivate Analytics is the company which provides Web of Science service. Web of Science is a very large indexed database of indexed bibliographic database as well as citation database of scholarly literature in a wide range of subjects. So it has been there since long. Therefore, it is a very reputed, very exhaustive, comprehensive database. Right. So let's go to Clarivate Master Journal List. Web of Science service is a paid service, whereas Clarivate Master Journal List is a free service. Let's go to Clarivate Master Journal List. I'll type the URL mjl, that is masterjournalist.clarivate.com. Let's go to that site. Web of Science Master Journal List. You can search for journal by its title, by its ISSN. ISSN you may be aware of, International Standard Serial Number, an 8-character unique identification code assigned to a journal or a serial publication for identifying that journal, for distinguishing that journal from other journals. Okay, let's find out whether a particular journal is indexed in Web of Science or not. For instance, American Journal of Business. Let's find out. Search journals. Exact match found. Exact match found. If exact match is not found, it will point you to those which have nearer match. Okay, fine. American Journal of Business. This is Emerald Group Publishing Limited. Okay, and there are other results also which match the words which are entered by me. American Business Law Journal, the Journal of Accounting, Finance and Business Studies. All these. Now, exact match is this, American Journal of Business. So now you see a discrepancy here. American Journal of Business is already listed in Web of Science Master Journal List. But how come I am finding it in Group 1 in UGC CARE? This could be because of the difference in the time period of indexing in Web of Science and listing in UGC CARE. There may be some discrepancies like that. Anyway, American Journal of Business is listed in Web of Science Master Journalist. This means that you can submit your article to this. It will be considered by UGC CARE. Right. So this is the second source where you can find a particular journal, whether it is listed or not. The third is an equally reputed list of sources by Scopus. Scopus is a competitor to Web of Science. It is also a very big bibliographic and citation database. This service is provided by Elsevier, who is a very well-known publisher of scholarly content. So let's go to Scopus sources list. Okay, so the URL is scopus.com/sources. Let's go there. Oh, I'm sorry. I think the presentation is not visible. I have been toggling the presentation. Anyway, let me just stop sharing and then I will share the entire screen. Then it will be better for you. Okay, fine. So now, uh, can you see me toggling between my presentation file and the browser?
Yes, sir, we are able to see it clearly. No issues.
Yeah, thank you. So Scopus sources list is the third important list for selection of journals. Let's go to this list. I have already visited this homepage, scopus.com/sources. You can see that there are 41,462 results. Okay, that means there are 41,462 journals. Okay, if I want to find a particular journal, then if I know the exact title of a journal, I can find out. If I don't know, I can also go for subject area, for instance, management. So let's say business management and accounting, a broader area. If I apply this filter, then I have got 1,933 results. There are a few points to be observed in this list. Scopus, apart from listing the journals, apart from providing bibliographic data of articles as well as citation, it will also rank the journals based on a score called cite score. This is based on the number of citations received by a journal in the past 3 years. Okay, so this is called cite score. Higher the cite score, higher is the impact of a journal. That means more number of citations have been received for each article in the previous 3 years. Can you see the cite score of Academy of Management Annals? 22.1. So what does it mean? It means that every article published in Academy of Management Annals in the previous 3 years has been cited at least 22 times. Every article. So isn't it very impactful? Isn't it fantastic? It means that if you submit your article to this journal and publish it, then your article also has the chance of getting cited for at least 22 times in various other sources. So please base your selection of journal on cite score. Okay, Right. So site score could be one of the criteria for you to decide to which journal I should submit my article. Of course, there are other considerations such as you need to make your article worthy of getting published in that particular journal by greatly improving the quality of your article. That's for you to take care of. But as a first measure, the selection should be based on site score. Right. So this is the third source for selection of journals. Let's go to the fourth, Google Scholar. Google Scholar provides uh, an option for every author to add his or her publications, create their profile, and all that. Earlier in my presentation, I showed Dr. B.T. Sampath Kumar's profile. So he has created his profile, he has added the details of his article, and Google Scholar starts tracking the citations for those articles. Apart from that, Google Scholar also provides highly impactful journals in various subjects. Let's find out. Let's go to scholar.google.com. This is the homepage of Google Scholar. I have not signed in. If I sign in, I will go to my personal profile. Now, instead of signing in, I'll click on these three horizontal lines on the top left. I find a few options and I'll go to metrics. I'll go to metrics. If I click on metrics, then Google Scholar will show me top publications. Top publications on what basis? Top publications on the basis of an index called H5 index. H5 index. Okay. And there is H5 median also. Since I'm mostly addressing commerce and management people, I need not explain what median means and how it can be computed. Right. So it 552 here refers to the middle value in the number of citations received by this journal, Nature, in the previous 5 years. In the previous 5 years. So 552. Okay, that means half of the total number of articles published in the previous years in Nature have 552 or more citations, and the other half has less than 552 citations. So the median citation itself is 552. That's very mind-boggling. That is why Nature has such a high reputation. H5 index is the index which is equivalent to the number of articles and the number of citations. Wherever the number of articles and the number of citations coincide, that is the value of H5 index. Number of articles in the previous 5 years. Okay, I'll probably explain this when I take up research impact metrics. So now this is top publications in all fields, all subjects. Now I want to find out top publications in my subject. How do I do that? I've got categories here and a small arrow. I click on categories and I find the broader categories here. So I'll go to business economics and management since I'm addressing commerce and management faculty. I'll go to business economics and management. Then I will get 20 top publications in Google Scholar, according to Google Scholar. If I want further subcategories, I can click on subcategories and I can find out the journals in that particular subcategory. So let me go there. Marketing, for instance. I click on marketing and I find 20 top journals in the field of marketing as listed by Google Scholar. So you can consider, instead of blindly submitting an article to a journal, please base your selection of journal on something like this, something that is already established by way of higher number of citations. So I would certainly prefer Journal of Business Research to submit my article instead of some other journal which may not have any citations. So please start deciding. Okay, please make it a habit to decide and have a concrete basis for selection of journals. Right. Let me go ahead with the next source. Microsoft Academic is a competitor, is a counterpart for Google Scholar. So let's go to academic.microsoft.com. I will directly take you to the journals page. Perhaps let me find out journals. Yes, journals analytics page of Microsoft Academic, because I want to get the list of journals. So if you scroll down, you will find top 100 journals in all topics, all subjects. So if I want, for instance, in economics, I click on economics and I will find top 100 journals in economics according to Microsoft Academic. Right. So the American Economic Review stands first in the topic in the subject economics according to Microsoft Academic database. So this is another good source for you to select the journals in your specific subject. We have got commerce here. Let's click on commerce. Yeah. So interestingly, on Microsoft Academic in the subject commerce, energy policy, a journal by name energy policy tops the table. So anyway, this is another good source for you to select the journal in your subject. Okay, so all these, the first 5 which I explained to you now, which I demonstrated now, are those which would be suitable for you in scenario 1. Scenario 1 meaning you are not ready with the article, you are not even ready with the title and abstract. In that case, you will select the journal, you will study the trends, you will select the journal, study the submission guidelines and scope. Based on the scope, you will prepare a manuscript and then you will submit. In order to submit, you will make a decision as to which journal to submit the article to. In the second scenario, where you already have at least the title and abstract. Okay, so let me find out an example. Just give me a few seconds. I'll just take at least the title and abstract of one of the articles which I have already published. So that it will be better for me to show you how these tools work. I'm going to take the title and abstract of an article which has already been published. Let me check another article, one I have already copied. These are journal finder services or journal suggester services. Based on the content you enter, they will suggest the most suited journals based on the topics, based on the words which already appear in those journals, in the articles published in those journals. Okay, so I'm ready. Let me share back the screen. Okay, right. So first, Elsevier Journal Finder. Let's simply Google. Let's not worry about the URL. Elsevier Journal Finder. I'm going to Google it. So I got it, journalfinder.elsevier.com. Let's click on this. You will come to Journal Finder page. So the requirement is you need to have a title for your paper and the abstract. Okay. So let me paste, for instance, a title. It's in all caps. Let's find out. Let's enter an abstract. Okay, maximum 5,000 characters. Enter relevant keywords for your paper. Select field of research. Let me not select this first. Let me click on find journals to find out whether it can still find the journals. Okay. Showing 49 journals matching your paper. Let's find out. The first journal listed here is the Journal of Informatics. Journal of Informatics. The site score of this journal is 8.4. That means in the previous 3 years, each article published in this journal has been cited 8.4 times, 8 times, let's say 8 times in other sources. Second, impact factor of this journal is 4.6. Acceptance rate. This is why you must use Journal Finder services. Acceptance rate is 18%. That means if 100 articles are submitted to this journal, only 18 articles get accepted. Okay. Time to first decision. How long, how much time does the journal take to inform the author about the first decision? First decision does not mean directly acceptance. Okay, so it is consideration, whether the article has been considered for further processing or not. So it will take 1 month. So this journal will take 1 month for you on an average to write back to you on the status of your article submitted. Time to publication. Average time taken for publication is 3 weeks. That means time to first decision is 4 weeks plus time for publication is 3 weeks. Let us say 7 weeks it will take, 7 to 8 weeks. In 2 months, you will have your article published in this journal. Whereas if you see the second journal, Data in Brief, it has got 39% acceptance rate. Out of 100 articles, 39 articles get accepted, but the site score of this journal is 1.5. Time to first decision is 8 weeks, and then time to publication is 4 weeks. So it will take about 12 weeks. This is why journal finder services have to be used by authors before submitting their article to a journal. Journal finder services will not only help you find most relevant journals for your article, but they will also give you some more insights, some more important data for you to make decision. Okay, that's about journal finder service. Once you are familiar with one journal finder service, it's easy to understand other journal finder services. So Elsevier Journal Finder is offered by Elsevier. Wiley Journal Finder is offered by Wiley, which is another reputed publisher. So let me Google it. Wiley Journal Finder, journalfinder.wiley.com. Okay, find matching journals because I already have the title and the abstract. First, let me paste the, okay, first let me paste the abstract since it is already selected here. And then let me paste the title. Okay, right, so find. Let's see if it can find. See, for this article, Wiley is not able to generate results. Okay, let's try with another article. Let me find out on this one whether Wiley can suggest me. Yeah, okay. So it has found one particular journal, Journal of the Association for Journal of the Association for Information Science and Technology. Impact factor of this journal is 2.41, and relevance is highly relevant. So it is not offering me as many insights as I received from the Elsevier Journal Finder. Okay, so there are similar services. Springer also has Journal Suggester, Taylor and Francis Journal Suggester. These are specific publisher journal suggester services. Elsevier, Wiley, Springer, Taylor and Francis. Journal Guide is a general journal finder service. So let's go to Journal Guide. Okay, so let's do a paper match. Okay. So let me find out on this one. And then the abstract. Let's see if it can find some journals matching the content which I have entered. Yes, 8 journals matched your search. You can observe here, this is a general service which can find journals published by various publishers, not confined to any one publisher. So there are many journals published by various publishers here. This service also can be used by you for selection of journals. And if you prefer to publish in open access journals, then you can make use of Inago Open Access Journal Finder. This is purely for open access journals in which the article will become immediately accessible for the readers to download and read. Okay, so let me copy the abstract. Only abstract it is asking for. Okay, email address, fine. Search journal. Let's find out if it gives me any. Yeah, okay, fine. So this is also giving me publication speed in weeks. Okay, so there are about 5 journals listed by 5 open access journals listed by this service. So like this, you can make use of Journal Finder, Journal Suggester services to find the best suited journals. I have got the screenshots. I'll be sharing this presentation with the librarian. She can in turn share this with all of you. So I've got screenshots for each of these, which I explained just now. Now, coming to how much time have I got?
90 minutes is the total duration, sir.
I see. I think I'm already reaching 90 minutes. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, I'll take about 5 minutes later. We can have some interaction. I'm sure the audience will be having certain queries.
Yes, sir. We can have question answer
Yeah,
session at the
yeah,
end.
yeah, yeah. At the end, right? So let me talk a bit about impact measurement. How impact is measured at the level of journals, at the level of authors, and at the level of articles. At the level of articles, it is quite easy. It is simply on the basis of number of citations received by an article. An article which has received more number of citations is considered more impactful, more valuable, more useful than the one which has received lesser number of citations. In the recent years, there is a new approach to measuring the impact of articles, not only in the scholarly context, but also outside the scholarly context. That means a new score has been devised called altmetric score, which not only considers citations in scholarly works, but also social media reviews, blog postings, Facebook page reviews, tweets, all these into consideration to measure the impact of an article. That's a different story altogether. At the author level, I-10 index is an index devised by Google Scholar, which is um, which simply means the number of articles having 10 or more citations. I-10 index. For example, if the I-10 index of an author is 25, it means that author has got 25 articles which have 10 or more citations. As simple as that. Then H index is an important measure of author level impact. It measures the consistency in earning citations. Probably some other time I'll be able to give you a live demo of the H index as well as G index. At the journal level, journal impact factor is an important impact measurement tool. This is this is published every year by Web of Science in a report which is called Journal Citation Reports. So if some service says impact factor of a journal is 25, don't believe it unless and otherwise the source is Journal Citation Reports. The journal impact factor published by Journal Citation Reports of Web of Science only is the authentic source. Parallel to Journal Citation Reports, Elsevier in the Scopus database publishes site score, which you just now saw when I demonstrated, site score and Scimago journal rank and source normalized impact per publication, SNIP. And Google Scholar has got H5 index for journals, H5 index for journals, and there are Cabell's scholarly analytics and eigenfactor score, which need a different session for me to explain and demonstrate. So I'm only listing them so that you know it. This is an example of journal citation reports released by Web of Science. Of course, this is a paid service. I got a screenshot of the journal citation reports of 2017. So as you can see in these reports, the most impactful number one journal is CA, a cancer journal for clinicians. The journal impact factor of this journal for the year 2017 is 244. Journal impact factor considers 2 years period, 2 previous years period to calculate impact factor, whereas site score considers 3 years period to calculate site score. So 244, it is so impactful that every article published in this journal in the previous 2 years has been cited 244 times. Okay, this is Symago journal ranking, which is collaboratively done by Scopus, that is Elsevier, and a non-profit organization called Symago. This is Google Scholar ranking, which I showed you. Cabell's journal whitelist. Yeah, this is an important slide. On the internet, on the web, there are certain dubious, certain duplicate impact factor services which claim to give impact factor to journals. Please do not fall prey to any of these services. I just want to create an awareness among you, not to consider any of these. As you can see on the extreme right, some of these services even charge money from journals for indexing. So these are not to be considered. Please consider only journal citation reports by Web of Science or Scopus Site Score or Symago journal ranking or SNIP. Cabell's list also can be used. Okay, so I will not get into academic identity. That will take me another hour. So anyway, it will be part of my presentation file. You can make use of these. Okay. Lastly, let me come back to another important topic which I have been asked to discuss. Many of you may be preparing to submit a synopsis for registration to PhD in various universities. I will just give you an outline of the contents of the synopsis, what ideally a synopsis should contain. Let me first, okay. Firstly, a synopsis will have introduction, which will discuss about the background of uh, of the topic which has been proposed for research. Secondly, it will have a review of literature. The purpose of a review of literature is to know to what extent research has been carried out in the select area and whether there is any research gap. So review of literature will open up the door for further research. You will get a clear idea as to whether the topic which I am proposing for PhD has already been researched upon or not. That is what you need to establish in the need for the study. So review of literature is crucial from the point of view of establishing the need for the study. In the need for the study section, you will take the help of the results which you have got from the review of literature, and you will establish the need for the study. And after the need for the study, you're going to state your problem. I'm sorry, I have left it out. Statement of the problem. Problem, the word problem in research has a broader connotation. It not just means problem in the general sense as the word is used. It also includes an issue, a topic, an idea, a concept, a model. Okay, it should be understood in the broader sense. So statement of the problem. You must state the problem on hand. What exactly is the problem? What exactly do you want to carry out in the tenure of 3 or 4 or 5 years? What would you like to achieve? And how would you like to articulate the problem? So you need to state the problem and the title. The title should be crisp and it must reflect what you want to accomplish by carrying out research. So it must be as self-explanatory as possible. There should not be any cryptic words which will evoke kind of suspicion or further curiosity in the minds of the readers. Then operational framework or the definition of key terms, the general definitions and your study specific definitions must be listed in this section. Then the objectives of your study. It is better not to have too many objectives. It's better to have a handful of objectives which can be accomplished. Since PhD is a time-bound study, it's always better to have a handful of objectives which can be accomplished. If the study involves formulation of hypothesis, then the hypothesis must be clearly stated. Hypothesis should not be a guess, okay, a common sense guess, which can be easily proven without any data, without any statistical testing. That becomes common sense. Hypothesis should be beyond it. It should require some collection of data and statistical testing in order to prove it or disprove it, in order to accept it or not. Then the methods or the methodology. What are the methods? How are you going to carry out your study? Step 1, step 2, step 3. The more algorithmic you are in defining the methods, the better it will be understood by the readers. Please remember, whether it's a journal article or a conference paper or a synopsis or even the thesis, it is not for your reading. Of course, you are the first reader, you are the writer, you are the first reader, but it should not stop at that. It should be for others. Therefore, the language and the choice of words matters a lot. You must keep it as simple and lucid as possible. And at the end, chapter scheme. How do you want to organize the thesis after accomplishing the research work? How do you want to present the report of your research work in the form of thesis? How is the chapterization? So if you include all this, and if you are able to convince the panel about your preparedness for carrying out this research, I am sure you will have a good opportunity to pursue PhD and a brighter career in your research. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. If there are any questions, comments, suggestions, I'll be more than happy to respond. Thank you very much.
We request the audience to post the questions in the chat box.
Yeah, there may be, I may have to, okay. I may have to see if there are any questions.
Yes.
I'm afraid there are no questions in the chat box. If the audience is willing to ask it by audio, I'll be happy to respond.
You can ask by the audio. Audiences, could you please ask the questions by audio, or else you can even post it in the chat box. Sir, there is a question in the chat box, sir.
Okay.
UGC care list 1 is also considered to be Scooper's journals.
Okay. This I would like to answer by showing UGC list, UGC care list again. Okay. So perhaps the question is whether Scopus journals come under UGC care list group 1 or not. So the answer is, let me just show you. Let me share the screen. Yeah. Can you see the UGC care homepage?
Yes, sir. We can.
Okay. So the answer is Scopus journals come under UGC care list group 2. Scopus journals, Web of Science journals, MLA Directory of Periodicals journals all come under group 2. But the point to be kept in mind is that all these lists, for example, Web of Science, Scopus, and MLA periodicals directory are dynamic. When I say dynamic, it means that they once a journal is included in Scopus or Web of Science, its listing is not guaranteed forever. Okay, if the quality of the journal is compromised, then it may get removed from this list. Therefore, it is always better to consult the original list to find out whether a particular journal is listed on a given date or not. Okay, I hope I am able to answer. Scopus journals come under group 2.
Sir, there is one more question in the chat box. Could you suggest any UGC journal for Kannada?
Yes, correct. You're right. For this, you may have to do a, a search by language of publication. Okay, so let's do a search by language of publication. Let me just show you that. I'm still logged in. That's good. Okay, so I'll go for UGC care list language of publication. Let me try Kannada. Okay, so whoever has asked this question, there are 7 journals which publish content in Kannada language. Okay, I mean Kannada language, but the subject matter could be any subject. I do not know. I'm not sure. For instance, Aniketana, Aruhu Kuruhu. Somebody asked Aruhu Kuruhu. It is listed in UGC Care. The almost 5 out of 7 journals are print only. So you may have to consult the publisher, Karnataka Sahitya Academy. This is Ratana Halati Somashekar. That is the name of the publisher as listed here. So these are the 7 journals which publish content in Kannada. Yeah, any other questions?
Any other questions? If there are no questions, we would like to wind up the session. Kindly let us know. Sir, we have one more question. How to identify unpaid journals?
Okay, I understand. Unpaid journals, there is nothing as unpaid journals. Okay, it matters for what you pay. Okay, for instance, if a journal is a paid journal, some people seem to be under a wrong notion that a paid journal is a predatory journal. So there are 2 different words which I'm using. Paid journal is different from predatory journal. So a predatory journal is a journal which will hunt for authors, which uses predatory mechanism. For instance, day in and day out, you will be getting email. The journal will tempt the authors by giving false data on impact factor. They'll have inordinately quick, unbelievably quick publication timeline. For instance, we will publish your article in 1 hour, 1 day, without having any peer review standards. Such journals usually charge for publishing the articles. Whether the charging information is made open or not is another matter. So these are predatory journals. Predatory journals are different. Paid journals. There are very good journals, very high standard journals which collect article processing charges, publication fees from the authors. It does not mean that it's a bad practice. It's only to compensate for the cost of publishing and the cost of making an article openly accessible. So there are open access publication fees. Okay. If you go to directory of open access journals, doaj.org, you can find the list of journals by subject and by their policy, whether the journal charges fee, whether the journal charges APC, article processing charges or not. That can be easily filtered. Yeah, there was another question by some Yashwant Kumar. Yeah, okay, I can see this. How to get good citation to article by uploading it in social academic site? That's a very good question. In fact, the second part of my session was on academic identity. That means how to get good visibility for your research publications. As rightly pointed out by Mr. Yashwant Kumar, it is not enough if an author publishes good quality articles. It is also equally important to get a good exposure, get a good visibility for the articles published. It is not only the responsibility of the publisher to give exposure to the author's article. In these days, it is possible for the authors themselves to gain visibility, gain exposure to their articles. Therefore, I suggest a few academic identity platforms, academic social networking platforms, academia.edu, then researchgate.net, mendeley.com. Let me just show you this contains already. This presentation already has all this. Okay, so let me just share the screen so that you will be able to see it. Okay, Google Scholar is one. It has got all the steps. Number two is the researcher ID, Clarivate Analytics researcher ID. Number three is Publon's service. Number four is ORCID Open Researcher and Contributor ID. And then Scopus Author ID. You can create all of these are free services. You can create all this. You can also create your Microsoft academic profile and you can add your details of publications there. Then Vidwan is an initiative by UGC, by InflibNet, to create a database of experts. You can create your profile and you can add your details. You can also integrate your various academic identity profiles along with Vidwan. These are my academic identity profiles. And coming to your point, Mendeley, Academia, ResearchGate, CiteSeerX, Archive. There are specific archives, bioarchive, SOC archive. All these can be used. You can upload your publication details on all these websites to get good exposure, good visibility for your publications. Yeah. Is literature review same as quantitative review? See, quantitative review can be considered as a type of review. It is not the same as a literature review. There can be systematic review as well. But what is, irrespective of the type of review you adopt for literature review, what is most important is to make certain critical comments on each of the studies you have reviewed, because making critical comment, the critical comments made by the researcher, presented by the researcher in his or her literature review, indicates that the researcher has had good understanding of the article studied, and it reflects the mastery over the subject on the part of the researcher. So please don't make your literature review very subjective, very descriptive. Also make certain critical comments for each of the studies. Okay, while publishing article, whether it is important to put research guide's name as the first author. This is a tricky question because this depends on the PhD rules, PhD regulations or ordinances of your university and your guide's preference. Okay. Ideally, I can suggest you can have a balance. For instance, if you make 2 publications, then in one of the publications, you can have guide's name as the first author and your name as the second. And in another, you can have vice versa. Yeah. So if there are no more questions, then I'll.
I have a question.
Sir, we have one more question, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I
Yes.
already prepared an article by following the normally acceptable standards.
Okay.
Could you please suggest me how to publish that? Means, I wanted to publish with the suggestive guidelines. Maybe you are at the time of your presentation, you were telling that Elsevier Journal Finder, where you uploaded only the title as well as abstract. It was
Yeah.
suggested that where we can publish the journal. But this is a situation, full paper is ready. How
Yeah.
can I find the journal?
That's what. In order to find a suitable journal for the contents that you have already prepared, entering the title and abstract is okay. You don't need to enter the full text.
Okay.
So once you use any of these journal finder services to find a suitable journal, you need to visit the website of that particular journal, study the submission guidelines or author guidelines or article formatting guidelines. You might have formatted the article according to generally accepted guidelines, but the formatting and the structuring of paper sometimes is very specific to a journal. A journal will have a custom format. So you need to fit your paper, fit the structure of your paper according to the submission guidelines of the journal and then submit it to the journal.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So, all the audience, we are coming to the end of the session, and I would like to tell that librarian Asha Ph.D. would propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge. Indeed, it was a fabulous and informative session. I would like to thank our principal madam in her absence. I would like to thank our colleagues for their support. I would also thank Assistant Professor Punita and Akash Kumar Singh for their support. Thanks to Mr. Dilip Kumar for technical support. Last but not the least, I thank the audience for their patience listening. Thank you, one and all.
I would just like to make an important announcement. The feedback link will be mailed to you by tomorrow, and the certificates will be attached. As you fill your feedback forms, you will receive your certificates. Thank you. Any more clarification you can ask? Okay, then thank you one and all. We will end the session.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.